Ida Carr, the 8th of April 1908 to 24 December 1974, was a photographer active mainly in London after 1945. She took many black and white portraits of artists and writers. Her solo show of photographs at the Whitechapel Gallery in 1960 was the first of its kind to be held in a major public gallery in London. Carr made a significant contribution to the recognition of photography as a form of fine art. Life. Carr was born Ida Karamian Karamanian at Tambov in Russia on 8 April 1908. Her parents were Armenian. Her father taught mathematics and physics. The family moved to Iran when Carr was 8, and to Alexandria in Egypt when she was 13. She studied at the Lycée Français there. When she was 20, she went to Paris to study chemistry and medicine, but soon began to study singing instead. She frequented the avant-garde artists and writers of the Parisian Rive Gauche, among them Piet Mondrian and Yves Tanguy, and became interested in socialist politics, in photography and in surrealism. She was at the first showing in 1929 of Un Chien Andalou by Louis Buñuel and Salvador Dali. Her first work as a photographer was in the studio of the surrealist photographer and painter Heinrich Heidesberger. In 1933 Carr returned to Alexandria. In the late 1930s she married Edmond Bellali, and together they opened a photographic studio, Idabel, in Cairo. There Carr came into contact with Egyptian surrealists including Iqbal El Alali and Georges Henin, and with members of the Art and Liberty movement. During the Second World War, Carr and Bellali participated in 2 surrealist exhibitions in Cairo, the second of them in 1944. In the same year she divorced Bellali and married the British poet and art dealer Victor Musgrave, who at the time was in the RAF. In 1945 they moved to London. In London Carr came into contact with artists who had been involved with surrealism, including Paul Nash and E.L.T. Mesens, and began to meet the artists and writers who would be her subjects. She specialized in portraiture, and in 1954 showed 40 artists from Paris and London at Gallery 1. The gallery space her husband had opened at 1 Lichfield Street in Soho the previous year. The show had little impact. John Casman became her assistant in 1956, and in 1958 her manager. He arranged to learn when famous artists were to visit London. They were told that Carr had been commissioned to photograph them, and the photographs were later sold to the press. Also in 1956, Terry Taylor was introduced to Carr and Musgrave by Colin McInnes, who had a room above the Gallery 1 premises, which had by then moved to 20 D'Arblay Street, Soho. Taylor, then in his early 20s, became Carr's assistant and within a short time also her lover. Musgrave apparently did not mind. Carr visited Armenia in 1957, and the Soviet Union in 1958. In 1959 she again traveled to the Soviet Union, where she photographed Shostakovich and others, to France, where she photographed, among others, Braque and Ionesco, and to East Germany, where an exhibition of her Armenian photographs was held. In the same year she was commissioned by Tatler to photograph London art dealers. In 1968 Carr advertised for an assistant in the British Journal of Photography. At Musgrave's suggestion, she formed a group with 3 of the applicants: Leslie Smithers, Lawrence Eller and John Cousins. She called it Carsec, from her name and their initials. The group dissolved in 1969. Legacy. The National Portrait Gallery in London acquired Carr's photograph archive in 1999, and in 2011 mounted a major exhibition of her work. Ida Carr, Bohemian photographer 1908–1974. Further reading. Val Williams. 1989. Ida Carr, photographer. London. Virago Press. ISBN 9781853811043. Claire Freestone. Karen Wright. 2011. Ida Carr. Bohemian Photographer. London. National Portrait Gallery. ISBN 9781855144224. Ida Carr. Bohemian Photographer. Site accompanying the National Portrait Gallery's 2011 exhibition. In Pictures. Ida Carr Exhibition, at BBC website.